Hello everybody and welcome back to Optimistic Orbit and another pick a card tarot reading, and today we are looking at what is Spirit trying to get you to finally see. What are you finally ready to realise? So we've got three pit piles to choose from as always and we're going to be using three different tarot decks. And if you like to choose with crystals, we've got some crystals for you as well. So pile number one, if you're drawn to this pile, we're going to be using the Wild Reflections Tarot. And if you like to choose with crystals, you've got a sunstone crystal. Pile number two, if you're drawn to this pile, this is the Solar Kingdom Tarot. And if you like to choose with crystal, this is an angelite crystal. And finally, pile number three, if you are drawn to this pile, this is the Sleepwalker Tarot. And if you'd like to choose with gemstones, yours is a lovely garnet. So pause the video if you want to spend a little bit more time seeing which one you're drawn to. The timestamps will be below and I'll see you for your reading. Hello pile number one and welcome to your reading about what is Spirit trying to get you to finally see. What's the truth that you've kind of been missing? So we're going to start with picking some oracle cards, and this is the Water Blessings affirmation cards, and we're going to pick one from this pile. We're going to also pick from the Wild Child oracle cards. And finally, we're going to pick one from the Healing Waters oracle cards. Bit of a water theme going on. It's because I've just been to the, I'm sure it's because I've just been to the Lake District. It's that one. Spent some lovely time on the water at Coniston, which was beautiful. Okay, we're going to use the Wild Reflections tarot for you today. So for pile number one, what is Spirit trying to get you to finally see? What are you finally ready to realise? That one and that one. What's the truth that you have been missing? Yeah, we'll go again. What Spirit is trying to get you to find? There's quite a few jumpers. Well, let's go with it. Okay. All right then. So let's put these over here. In fact, I think we'll do that. And then 1, 2. We might have to go with 4 in a row, just so that we've got some space. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh, I didn't realise that many had come out. Okay. Let me just check that you can still see this because... Oh, brilliant. Okay. Right, let's start with the Water Blessings then. So what's Spirit trying to get you to finally see? Pile number one. Number 7, Heaven and Earth. Divine unity is your graceful and very natural self-expression. Yeah, we're all individuals, aren't we? And my throat is closing up a little bit. I do wonder if there's something going on maybe with your voice. I don't know whether it's health-wise or whether it's the fact that you feel like you can't say what you want to really say. Maybe now is the time. Shadow. Okay, so suggests here that there's something, yeah, and if this is about not being able to speak up, then that's maybe something that's come from when your own history here. Were you not allowed to speak up when you were younger? And that might be this shadow aspect that's coming through. We'll have a little look and see if the cards agree, whether there's something else coming through. Ooh, Atlantis. Keep the big vision. Stay in alignment as you grow. Yeah, so when we look at these cards, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because here we have Atlantis. Lots of us apparently have been and are reincarnating on Earth because we were actually part of this fall down of Atlantis. Keep the big vision, stay in alignment as you grow. So I think this is pointing to us thinking, and you particularly, about what is it, why are you here? What is your purpose? What is it that you feel you are drawn to do? What's your desires? Because whatever is pulling you is clearly what you're meant to be doing. You know, even if it's only temporary, that pull, that drive is there for a reason. So this is suggesting that you are here to do a unique job. You know, divine unity is graceful and very natural self-expression. So this is all about you working through your own demons, maybe your own hang-ups, for instance. Maybe you were always just shouted down at some point and you don't feel like you can speak up, or you've just learned, you kind of shut down a little bit and you let others kind of take over and you just kind of do it to keep the peace. But this is saying keep the bigger vision, stay in alignment as you grow. So I think this is something you've got to work through. Maybe it's about setting better boundaries and using your voice in order to do that, instead of just kind of just kind of like sitting back, not being the person to speak up. So let's see if the cards tell us any more. Death. So we're having a transformation here. And judgment. Wow, this is powerful. Oh, I'm getting tingles just looking at this, because this is so very much about I feel this is more about your soul contract. This is more about what you came here to do, as I said earlier, your purpose. Because judgment is about reckoning. It's about realigning, reawakening. It's very much a spiritual card in the sense that it can be a spiritual awakening. It can also be a time for you to reflect on what maybe you have, I don't know, maybe just kind of pushed to the back of your mind, or almost decided that, you know, life's just getting too heavy at the minute, and I haven't got the space to be able to do this. I really want to do it, but I've got all these different things going on and it's just something I can't do. You might be giving yourself excuses as to why you can't, but this is a card of higher calling. And this is why I'm saying that there is some sort of soul contract issue going on here that your spirit wants you to know about, because it's saying you came here to have a voice. You came here to do some really great energetic things, and your awakening is a part of that, because death is all about transformation. So these two very much give that sort of a very powerful message, in that death is about transformation. This is about reawakening and resetting. And I think you've got to sort of look a little bit more carefully about how you've let maybe life just lead you instead of you leading your own. And I love, anyone watch the what's that film, The Holiday, with Kate Winslet, and she says to I can't think of his name, the old man. She says, you're supposed to be the leading lady in your own life. And I feel like this is you. You're supposed to be the leading person in your own life. And maybe you've been the supporting person for a lot of the time. It's time to rewrite your identity. Almost like you need an identity shift here. How you go about that? There's lots of different ways, aren't there? And maybe you already are working on it. 7 of Cups. Yeah, okay. And the clarifier is the Queen of Cups. Okay. So the 7's here. When we see 7 in numerology, we're always thinking about being on the right path. It's about keeping going, but there is a sort of you're being tested at the same time. And this is what all the shells here are. There's a lot of different options that are being given to you. And some of them lead you into a bit of a challenge. Some of them are the path of least resistance, but because they're kind of hidden by the outer shells, you don't really know at the minute which of your options you want to go for. However, I do feel from everything that we've had so far that Spirit is really just trying to get you to consider very carefully those options. And the Queen of Cups here is, I think the energy and the guidance here is, look, you know, you've got the wisdom and you've got the life experience here to be able to make a really informed choice. And yet the things aren't always going to be, straightforward or exactly what they turn out to be. But that's a life lesson in itself, isn't it? I do feel like you're being given some, or in the very near future, you're going to be given some kind of situation that means you're going to have to start using your voice, or your purpose is going to become very, very clear through that, maybe that challenge and that situation. Ace of Wands, lovely, nice, really passionate energy. Oh, goodness, but with the Three of Swords. That's an interesting pairing. So we've got new beginnings, new opportunities, definitely in terms of a passion project, something that you are driven to do. And I'm wondering if this kind of comes out of your choices here. So it feels like you're going to have to make some kind of choice in some area of your life, and you're going to run with it. You're going to choose an option, and it's going to be a new beginning for you. And actually, it feels very exciting to you. This is almost and I feel like this is almost the beginning of this transformation. Transformation is going to be coming about because of this new beginning. But we've got the Three of Swords here, and with the fact that it's paired up with a new beginning, with something that's so driven and so ambitious in its energy, we've got this really kind of muted and almost in a negative energy coming through. I mean, the Three of Swords here, it can mean heartbreak, it can mean disappointment, it can mean betrayal. So I think this test has something to do with how well you kind of push through, because we can, depending on how we perceive our problems and how we react to them, often determines how we then spend our time and what we then go on to do. We can play the victim, or we can say, actually, what is the positives that I can take from this? So it's not going to be smooth sailing. I do feel like there's a major life, this is all pointing to a major life lesson that Spirit wants you to know is either playing out now and you're like, okay, this makes sense. And hopefully it resonates with some of you in that way, or it's about to, because we've got some really major energy. We've got lots of emotions running through, but we've also got you a little being a bit doubtful here about your strength and your ability to kind of power through. Five of Cups with the 10 of Wands. Okay. Yeah. This is definitely a test. This is definitely feels like there's a challenge. There's something that you're riding through, and Spirit really wants you to know that this is it's going to have to play out, and you can either play the victim and say, woe is me, or you can think about what actually is going right in my life, rather than looking at the upturned shells that are now broken and are not quite as I'd like them. Look what actually is still in my life, supporting me, guiding me. These things are just as important if not more so. So if you see it from this positive angle and you start to think about where your boundaries lie, that disappointment, you're not beating yourself up about, oh, I should have done X, Y, and Z. You're saying, right, well, I dealt with it. I dealt with the situation. I set my boundaries. You know, their agenda was completely different to mine. Okay, I acknowledge that, but it's time to move on. And it's suggesting here that I feel like these are really kind of all tied together in terms of how you deal with this situation. Spirit wants you to really start to come out of having this mentality of things not kind of going your way, and see it as a lesson, see it as a learning curve. Think about the things that actually still exist in your life that may have, that are going well. How has this actually made you a stronger person? See that as a positive as well. The Ten of Wands suggests that you are feeling like you are got so much on your plate that you're a little bit overwhelmed. So don't be surprised if you're feeling wrung out by this situation, whether it's in your love life, whether it's a work situation, whether it's a money situation, whatever it is. This has been part of what you had to do while you were here. So this is suggesting that you just rethink about how much you're taking on. What can you give away? What can you delegate? It's about thinking smarter, not harder sometimes. And the Ten of Wands energy is just that. It's like, come on, you don't have to do all of this. And if people have pressured you in the past or put on you, and this is maybe again why your voice has been stifled, is that you just kind of say yes to keep the peace. Does that resonate with some of you? And the Ten of Wands is here to say, come on, you've used your voice. This was a test. And hopefully, if you've used your voice, you've set yourself some better boundaries. You've come out of this situation feeling much more empowered by it, even though it wasn't a great thing to go through. You're feeling empowered and you're like, right, let's sort my life out. Let's sort out the wheat from the chaff. Let's have a look at what is serving me, who is serving me, and what can I do just to simplify things for a while, because I think after all of this, you're going to need to take just a little break. There's a lot going on, and I think you could do with, not worrying about the small stuff here. This is a kind of a who moved my cheese kind of scenario, isn't it? How we address that and how we perceive it is very much in how we then move forward and how quickly we move forward as well. Oh, nice. Queen of Wands with the, oh, there we go, the Hermit. We were just saying about taking some time out, weren't we? And I think this is lovely. I think you are going to do, you are ready. You are ready for this challenge, pile number one. Spirit wants you to really make sure you use your voice. That keeps coming through loud and clear. And that may mean you having to do some inner work. It may mean that you have to work on your self-worth and maybe just thinking about where your boundaries lie. And not giving up at the first hurdle. You may have tried to have used your voice and set some boundaries, only to be shot down. You thought, and you give up. This is not about giving up. This is about strengthening your voice, knowing that what you have to say is worth hearing, and that you're telling the people around you that's your agenda. But this is me, and this is what I need to tell you right now. I do really feel that there's the problem is definitely bound up in some difficult conversations, potential confrontations as well, which if you are not wanting to use your voice, you probably try and run for the hills every time confrontation kind of comes knocking. So yeah, we said about here, when this is done, you're going to want to take some time to take stock, because you're feeling a bit wrung out, and the Hermit is suggesting exactly that. Yeah, you want a bit of solitude, have some introspection, think about that inner guidance, all that inner work that you have done. How far have you come? How did it feel? What was great about it? How empowered are you now? And what's your next steps? You know, your identity is shifting for sure. You know, we've got transformation here, awakening, two major arcana clarifying each other. So this is quite a big deal, and this is a big event that's just going to shape how you see things in the future. And Spirit wants you to know that you're going to come out of this stronger. You're going to come out of this more confident. You're going to come out of this feeling driven and maybe ambitious for the future. Those things perhaps that you have always just put aside because you've put other people's feelings first, or you've put other people's needs before yours, which is very often what happens when people have an issue with their voice. You're saying, actually, I'm empowered now. I'm empowered. I've found my voice. I know exactly how I want to move forward from here, because I'm taking the time out to actually see how far I've come, what I need to now do, and what I need to take forward with me, having learnt lots from this situation. So this is Spirit is trying to get you to see that this has to play out. But you are guaranteed, if you actually learn this lesson, you're doing the inner work. You're not just saying, oh, that was awful, go away and lick my wounds. You're saying, okay, what can I learn from this? What exactly are my takeaways? And how can I now use that to my advantage to grow my self-awareness and to actually then become the person that I really, really always hoped I would be? Because Spirit is saying the time is upon us, upon you, to really grab it by the horns, because this situation is either playing out for you now and you're in the thick of it, and I feel for you. I certainly do, because this is a definite problem and a challenge that's come up of some quite significance in one area of your life. But see it for what it is, a real drive to get you to become the empowered person who uses their voice, is not afraid to set boundaries, because you're going to come out of it feeling like, you know, you can conquer the world. Wow. I was not expecting that, pile number one. What a lovely reading. I hope that's been useful to you. If that resonates with you, drop us a comment below. I'd love to hear if that is the case. And think about giving us a like, subscribing to the channel here on Optimistic Orbit, and check out some of our other pick a card readings. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye. Hello, pile number two, and welcome to your reading about what Spirit is trying to get you to finally see. What are you finally ready to realise? So we're going to be using the Solar Kingdom Tarot for your reading, and we're going to pick from 3 oracle piles today. So first of all, we're going to do one from the Inner Child deck, and then we're going to do one from the Water Blessings affirmation cards. And last of all, we're going to do one from the Healing Waters deck. So what is the truth that you've been missing? What are you finally ready Oh, I think there's two there. We're going to go with it. No, there's two. A huge bunch. It does want to come out, doesn't it? Let's go with that one. Okay, so let's put those over here for a moment. And we're going to pick 6 from the Solar Kingdom deck. So what do pile number 2 need to know, Spirit? What do you want them to finally see? What are you finally ready to release? So we've got 3 cards. We're going to pick 3 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. There we go. I think it felt like that one wanted to come as well. Okay. All right then. Let's sort these out. Okay, so what do we have here? Echo. I love that card. So pretty, isn't it? That always suggests to me repeating patterns when I see it. It's like, or something very mirrored back to you. It's a little bit like a karmic return, isn't it? There could be all sorts of things here related to this, and depending on what we get here, we might be able to illuminate what this card is trying to tell us today. So we'll leave that for a second. We'll look at the others first. Rebirth, enliven. You are destined to initiate divine celebrations for healing joy. You are destined to initiate divine celebrations for healing joy. How nice. Rebirth and enliven. A 38, so what does that get down us to? It gets to 11, 2, doesn't it? So something coming together, maybe. Let's have a little look. The water carrier, what really matters? Reflect, reprioritize. Interesting. I mean, echoes are kind of like reflections in some shape or form, aren't they? Rebounding, reflecting, reprioritizing. There's a lot of re's here, rebirth. So there's some changes going on in your life that Spirit wants you to know about. Let's see if the cards can give us a bit more detail. So the Queen of Pentacles with the 4 of Wands. Looks like you've got your stuff together. I mean, the Queen of Pentacles is very resourceful. She's very on it. You know, she's organised. She can turn her hand almost to anything, really, and she's a nurturing energy. So she looks after the people around her, and also very much keen on making sure that that's for the long term too. So there almost seems like a long-term outlook maybe that's going on here for you. The 4 of Wands is a lovely card because it's all about sort of stability. It's all about keeping that structure, looking at the results of your hard work, which actually marries really nicely with the Queen of Pentacles energy. But 4s can also be about a time to reflect and just pause about what you've accomplished. So you might just be sitting pretty here thinking, look at how far I've come. Look at what I've been able to achieve. And it potentially, with all these re's, reflect, reprioritize, rebirth, maybe even reflect, from the echo as well. I'm wondering whether you're at a moment in your life where you've just kind of got to a point where you're like, is this everything I've got to look forward to? I mean, you're fine with it, but it's like, it might have been a bit of a slog to get to that point. And you may be just feeling a bit like, all I ever seem to do is, you know, work, look after the home, you know, just my daily grind, and I've been doing that for a long time, and I've still got a long time left before I can retire. So what is the point? It's almost like, I don't want to say midlife crisis, but for some of you that might resonate. It's like you've got to a point in your life, and I think this is we're finding, aren't we, with people, burnout. It gets earlier and earlier that we're experiencing this kind of why on earth am I doing all of this? What is the point if I can't enjoy life? And I feel that energy maybe is coming through from what Spirit wants you to know. Ace of Pentacles. So this is a new beginning, an opportunity for you to seize in terms of looking at a new avenue. And for some of you, that could well be that you are looking at jacking in whatever it is that has given you this nice, comfortable existence, because you're overworked. I'm not going to say underpaid, because I think potentially that you've certainly organised and structured your life in a way that means that you're sitting quite securely here. But I think you're just, whether you're in a line of work that just doesn't align anymore for you, you've kind of got to a stage in your life where you're thinking, this doesn't give me any satisfaction, and I want to venture out and branch off into something that gives me much more satisfaction or aligns with my values better. Some of us are in jobs where we just don't resonate with the way where the company is run, or things alter in terms of policies that just makes you feel uncomfortable, and it's not one of the reasons why you went into that line of work in the first place. So I feel like there's something of that nature going on, which kind of fits with the midlife sort of reflecting, reprioritizing, and I'm not saying you're all middle-aged, but you know what I mean. It's that kind of, I'm sort of like, I need to take stock. I need to take stock of my life. And I've got another, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 odd years potentially on this planet. And do I really want to be doing this for much longer? I feel like Spirit is trying to get you to see that this is a necessary kind of time out to look at what it is you really want from life. And maybe it's long overdue. The Chariot. Okay. Oh, nice energy with the Ace of Pentacles. So you've got potentially this opportunity, this new financial opportunity, one that maybe you have driven yourself because you want out of the rat race. Or it could just be there is one being offered to you that is much more aligned with how you want your future life to look like. Someone's definitely given you an opportunity here, and there is money behind it. So whether that means it's a job with, it's just a different job, it's a new career. It could mean that you're going to use some of your savings to just break out for a while and take up an opportunity that you've been offered because you can. And the Chariot suggests here that you're striving, you're going to go for it. You are heading in that direction, and you're very focused that you really want to reprioritize. I think this is about, the Spirit is saying that this is you having done your reorganizing, your reprioritizing, and this just looks like that, if you say yes to that reprioritizing, you are destined to initiate divine celebrations for healing joy. It's almost going to be a situation where you're like, yeah, get me out of here. I'm ready. I've been ready for a long time. And the momentum you move forward with is very focused. And you're leaving behind some things that you really wanted to leave behind, that were stressing you out, that were causing you not necessarily grief, but they were just causing you to not be as happy as you would like to be. You were just kind of existing, and you didn't want to exist anymore. You wanted to taste life and everything that it has to offer. This is what this is really suggesting here. Yeah, and this almost, again, lots of pentacles. married up here with the energy and the enthusiasm of the page. They've got some plans that they are wanting to put into progress. So this is almost the next. I feel like when I see these cards together, it's almost like, yeah, you've made the decision, and this is you on the first steps to getting that decision put into reality, and you're moving forward very swiftly, if the Chariot is anything to go by. Ooh, Two of Cups. This is going to open doors for some of you. So twos are all about pairing, something coming together. So whether this, and this could be all paired up with the choice, all connected to this choice that you've made. And usually this is a really good sign to say that this choice is the right one. This is the right one for you. It aligns much more with who you have become over time. And I almost feel like this is a kind of a go for it. But it's just making sure that you create balance at the same time. What you don't want to do is head straight first into this new opportunity and just end back up in a different place or a different job or a different life, only to then just have everything that you were trying to get away from come meet you again. So this Spirit is saying this can't be a run. You can't use this opportunity as running away from things that you don't want anymore. This has really got to be something that you want and that you have thought about. And I don't doubt actually that you are not going to do this properly, because that this is saying to us, you're very organised, you like your structure, you like to have a bit of a fallback situation, you like your stability. So I don't think that is going to be a problem for you. But this is definitely saying that this significant choice, is a bit of a goer. Wow, Ace of Wands to finish. Yeah. Now, if that was not a yes, then this is a yes in capital letters. This is saying go, go, go. Act now. Don't wait. This Spirit, it's interesting that, whenever you hit on this video, this is almost like, I feel like divine timing, because Spirit is saying to you, act now. The time is right. You have been maybe pondering on this for a while, but something is going to come into your life that is an opportunity that excites you so much. That's your key to knowing that it's the one that you need to go with, because what excites you is what drives you, and what drives you will give you some good results. This is really fortuitous and really positive, pile number 2. And I think the Echo card, we were saying earlier on, I wasn't quite sure how this message was playing out, but I feel it goes back to what we were saying, in that what you don't want to do is move from here to here and then end up coming back to familiar patterns and ways of life. So what you've got to really do is set yourself up to reflect before you make this move. Reprioritize. And as you reprioritize what you want in your life, you then get rid of whatever it is that you no longer align with, what you no longer need. And you don't go back there. That's what this is all about. Don't go back there. So whatever that might be, it's a little bit. I think you're savvy to know what the red flags are. You've been there, you've done that. So whether this is an adventure, which I'm getting for some of you, it definitely is. It's a kind of about leaving the rat race behind for some of you. This is an adventure, but it's about just not falling back into old habits and old patterns if you want this to be your new life and for it to last. I think why this has come up is because you are organised, because you do like your life in order, you like the structure, you don't, you save for a rainy day, you don't like surprises in some respects. This is saying, okay, yeah, that's all very well, but actually when you move into when you make such a change as you're about to do, and take this opportunity by the horns, that feeling of being in a more vulnerable situation and being in a more risky, I don't know what's going to happen situation can just feel a little bit strange to your body and to your mind. And it's just warning you to say, that is going to happen. You're going to have to feel that and just kind of ride through it if you want this new life to be everything that your hopes and desires wish it to be. And I think this is the Ace of Wands telling you, stop thinking about it. Stop. You've got enough here. You've got all the resources you need. Just do it. Act now, because the window will close, this is saying. This is a situation where opportunities come, opportunities go, don't they? And timing is everything, and this is definitely a timing issue that Spirit is telling you about here. Wow, it's exciting, pile number 2. Anyway, that's your reading. I hope that has resonated with you. If it has, drop me a comment below and let me know what particularly it was you enjoyed about your reading. Hit like and maybe think of subscribing to the channel, and I hope to see you next time. Bye. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. You chose the garnet and the what tarot deck is this? Oh, the Sleepwalker tarot. Sorry, just completely went out of my head for a second. You chose the Sleepwalker tarot deck. We're going to use some oracle decks as well today to ask what Spirit is getting you to finally see. What are you finally ready to realise? What's the truth you've been missing, pile number 3? So we're going to pick one first from the Water Blessings deck. And then we're going to choose one from the Healing Waters deck. It's a bit of a water theme going on today. Just come back from the Lake District I was telling, pile number 1. Maybe that's the reason why. Okay, and finally one from the Wild Child Oracle deck. It's not feeling it. That's sorry, but there we go. I think because they're oval, I have the feel and the cards in your hands just slightly different. Okay, right, so we've got one of those. Now let's choose 6 from the Sleepwalker tarot. What does pile number 3 need to know right now, Spirit? What do you finally need them to see? What are they ready to realise? How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's 6. I feel like I want to take another one. No, let's go again. I feel like my shuffling is not great today. There we go. Okay. Do that, and we'll have a little look at the Water Blessing card first. So number 8, vitality and balance. Celebrate as Shiva dances softly dissolving illusion. Ooh, nice. Vitality and balance, yeah. And 8s are all about vitality and strength and understanding the flow of energy, which of course, when it's in balance, we just ride through life that little bit more easily. Celebrate as Shiva dances softly dissolving illusion. So maybe there are some things that Spirit is getting you to look at today that perhaps you've been missing, you've not been seeing clearly. There we go, into the unknown. Underworld, depth, courage, facing your fears. Okay, so this is interesting. We've got illusion and into the unknown. Yeah. It's what they're definitely wanting you to think about your fear. Facing your fears. Facing up to the fact that change is not always bad. And staying in the familiar can actually harm us as much as help us sometimes. You know, humans want safety. We are wired to go for safety, and sometimes that can keep us in a place that isn't actually aligning anymore with our true purpose, with our fullest existence in this life. And here we go. You have definitely got to take a leap of faith. And you've got to use this 8 energy to find that new strength, to understand that flow of energy is actually for your higher good. Into the unknown you go. Let's find out exactly what fears you've got to face up to. I feel like that's something that's going to come through. Wow. 9 of Swords. Okay. You're anxious about this. You're anxious. It's keeping you awake. You're stressed. Pile number 3. Something is weighing heavy on your mind. Why is it weighing heavy on your mind? Okay, and the 8 of Cups. So the 8 of Cups is all about leaving behind things that you had always relied upon, a life that you had built. It can be as big and as important as that. It could be something like a career or a job that you're leaving behind. You know, you're done. This is an energy of you being done. You have stayed long enough to know that there is nothing left here for you, and you are wanting to move on. But you seem very stressed about this, and this is probably why, because you're somebody who doesn't like change. You're worried about the unfamiliar and what that might mean. It could be you're worried about what other people think. You're worried about how you're going to pay the bills. You're worried about it all going wrong. You've got a potential fear of failure. And Spirit can see that. Spirit knows that this is difficult for you, but they're asking you to find some inner strength. Yeah, okay, this is nice. High Priestess and the King of Swords. Yeah. So Spirit is wanting you to see that you are divinely supported, divinely guided. And actually, one of the things that you need to do is to trust your intuition. There is mystery and mystery kind of like bound up with the High Priestess, which kind of fits with this illusion and the fact that you don't always know what you're going to see. And that's why this card is saying to you, yeah, you've got this, but actually you've got this mystery, you've got things you don't really know. But this is why you have your intuition, you have your inner wisdom. I think you're being asked to practice actually tuning into your intuition more, going with your gut. Are you somebody maybe who just ignores it or has ignored it in the past? Because you've kind of you've kind of gone back to that very human, physical, 3D, I need to feel safe, I need to kind of feel in a familiar pattern, even though I know it's not great, I'd like it to be better, but something is just keeping you stuck and your mind is not helping here. But you are needing to let it go. It's done. This is something that really, this is the energy that they're asking you to tap into. This energy of being decisive, this energy of, yep, it was good while it lasted, but now I need to move forward for your own development, for your own benefit. The King of Swords energy here is saying exactly this. You know, yes, you need to trust your intuition. You need to tap into that inner wisdom. And the King of Swords here is saying you can cut through these illusions. if you actually just think to yourself, what if I actually do make this leap? What if I do leave this old life behind, whatever that might be? And of course, it could be a love, it could be a relationship, it could be a job, it could be a place, a situation, or any part of your life you can know. I don't think we're really getting any strong indications any one way at the moment, but it is asking you to leave something behind and to take a leap of faith. And the King of Swords here with his sword upright is cutting through that illusion. You need to do some work, pile number 2, on looking at what it is. It's almost like drawing up a pros and cons list, isn't it? Pros if I stay, pros if I go, cons if I stay, cons if I go. And like you need to sort of really look at what it is that's holding you back here, because we've both got swords here, which is all about the mind. This is about emotions. So emotionally, it feels like you are ready to go behind. You're wrung out, but your mind is the one that's being, the logic is taking over here. Your head is winning over your heart at the moment. And that's something that the King of Swords can change, because if you look at what it really is that is the issue here, you might not see that it's actually that big a deal. And that's what Spirit is asking you to do here. Tap into that inner guidance. Really hone your intuition into this situation. And you can see more clarity about what this leap of faith really means. Yeah. I mean, if there's ever we needed confirmation that you are stuck in your head, this is it, isn't it? Your mind is doing the trapping here. I do really feel like you're ready to go. There's such a conflict of interest going on in your mind. And whether maybe you failed before, maybe you care too deeply about what other people think or what society might think about you. If you do go, if you do let go and start again, take this opportunity, because it could well mean that you end up hurting people, you end up disappointing people, and for you, and if that's tied up with family, that could be a very big deal for some of you. But Temperance is saying, do you know what? Balance is what you need in your life. And with balance comes a much more happier, freer, peaceful existence. This is all about the flow of energy again, in terms of making sure that you are moderating how much your mind actually rules what you do in your life. You are being asked by Spirit here to start thinking about really dealing with these issues that are actually all of your own making inside your head. So think about maybe getting a mindset that actually is going to allow you to tap in more to your gut, trust your gut. Have you been in that situation before where you've actually gone, oh, do you know what, my gut told me I shouldn't have done that, but I did because I just wanted to feel safe, and I missed out on a big moment there. You may have already have kind of gone through this cycle once or twice or 3 times before, and I think you're almost kind of like angry with yourself that your mind is keeping you trapped. It really is keeping you trapped. And it's the only thing here that is stopping you from going forward. And Spirit wants you to see this. Spirit wants you to realize that you are never going to move forward or never going to experience life in the way that you are destined or should be destined to experience it if you are not going to jump into the unknown. And Temperance is here to say, things balance out, the good and the bad, the rough and the smooth. You can't expect everything to go to plan, But look what could be on the other side of this cliff. You know, this could have been like absolutely no grazing rights on this side. There could be all sorts of development and construction going on over here. And the goat is saying, look, this is a huge jump, but on this side, the grazing is so much better. The peace and the tranquility is so much aligned with what my body needs that I'm going to take that risk, because it will balance out. There is not going to be any huge, I feel like temperance has come up because there aren't going to be any huge issues with you actually making this choice and letting go. It might feel like that initially, and you might feel pulled back to wanting to, what have I done? You know, what have I done? Why did I do that? Oh my goodness. But that's because it's new. You're not used to feeling it. You just got to kind of give it time. Give it time, and you'll see that it is for your own higher good. Queen of Cups, lovely card to end on. I'm really pleased to see that, because that's confirmation that you are going to be emotionally fulfilled here. This is a woman who just feels happy in her own body, happy with the choices that she has made, and happy with the way in which her cup is full. So this energy here is saying to you, go with this. I mean, if there hasn't really been a clearer message, I don't think, from Spirit before in terms of what you are being asked to do. Get out of your own head. Trust your intuition. Take that leap of faith. Don't worry about what might be laying on the other side, because it all balances out. Nothing huge is awaiting you. There's not going to be any massive problems, because you're going to be emotionally happy and fulfilled in your new existence, whatever part of life this may be talking about for you. Pile number 3. You're going to get rid, look, celebrates as Shiva dances, softly dissolving illusion. The illusion of what you felt was actually a safe place. Turns out it was all right, but this is hugely better in comparison. You know, you kind of cut through that illusion, and I think the King of Swords is here to say, yeah, look, you've got to get rid of all of this clutter, this mind clutter, and all these things that you're saying are not going to be good about it, when in actual fact you have no idea, because you're just so fearful of what might be there and what might not be there. So yeah, all in your head. Find a way, pile number 3, to work through that, because fear can keep us trapped all our lives for much longer than we want to. We've all stayed in a place, or all stayed in a relationship, or all stayed in a job that we know no longer fits. But we almost have to get to that place of feeling so uncomfortable before we make that move. Well, that's the universe giving you a big push to say, nope, no longer yours, no longer aligning with you. It's time to move on. And I think emotionally you're ready, so that's helpful. So even though your mind is the last thing to be able to work on this and to make sure that you can have the life that you really, really desire, it's helpful that your emotions are already there, because that's maybe just going to be the catalyst to you then working through these issues that are holding you back. Right, pile number 3. I hope that's been useful. If it has, please drop me a like. Say in the comments anything that you think particularly resonated with you, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.